Hello.
How are you, Sagar?
All good, all good. How you doing?
Pretty good. I actually was not aware that I will be attending, so sorry about that. But I'm
No,
going
no
to
worries.
rename myself. Okay,
Uh,
all
yeah,
set.
yeah. I was just saying, no worries. So, uh, give me a moment. Yes. Uh, so I'll start the webinar now and let's get it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in our session today. Today, we'll be going through study abroad loan walkthrough, how to apply for the MPOWER student loan as an international student. And we have a packed agenda here today. And with me, my name is Sagar. I am part of the marketing team here at MPOWER. And with me is Meng Zhao from the Empower team. And I will quickly give it a second for Meng Zhao to introduce herself to the audience. Meng Zhao, if you could help us with the introduction.
Of course. Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Ming Zhao. If you're new here, my name is Ming Zhao once again, and I'm one of the relationship managers here at MPOWER Financing. So I've been here for almost 3.5 years. So it has been amazing to see that we're able to support a lot of students who are able to pursue their educational dreams. But yeah, other than that, we will let you know. Of course, Sagar will introduce you to our Empower loan products, and I will definitely help you walk you through for the application process. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Super. Uh, so that was lovely. And for everyone attending this session, if you want to make the most out of this session, please make sure that you add your questions to the Q&A field and make sure that your questions are as detailed as possible. And it would only help us get back to you with a relevant response. So, in the with the interest of time, give me a moment. Let me just pull up. Yeah, cool. So I hope my screen is visible. And so overall, the run of show is we'll first go through like who is Empower, what does Empower do, in case you guys aren't already aware. We'll quickly share some tips and tips tricks as well. And post that we'll then move to the student journey. What does the study abroad journey look like from a fall perspective? And then later on we have the application walkthrough, the detailed step-by-step application process for the Empower loan application and how to apply for that. And then lastly, we'll be taking up the questions that we receive from you guys throughout these sessions. So make sure that you take a note of the questions that you have and ensure that you add it to the Q&A field. So with that, uh, starting with the first most basic question, who is Empower? What does Empower do? In case you guys are not already aware, we are a global leader in international student financing. And what do we mean by that is we are proud of the fact that we are able to help international students get access to funding for their higher education. And we do so by ensuring that the funds that are received are based on the student's potential. And how are we able to do it is through our forward-looking inclusive model. Uh, Most traditional lenders that exist in this space today, most of these traditional lenders would basically give you a loan when they would need, say, some kind of collateral, cosigner, or some form of security is something that they would need in order to give out a loan. However, from Empire perspective, we never ever ask for anything like that. So we would never ask for any co-applicant, guarantor, co-signer. These are different terms for the same thing. And what they essentially mean is that if you are unable to repay the loan, then this person whoever is the co-signer, co-applicant for your loan application on your loan application, they would be liable to repay the loan in case you fail to do so. So Empower does not have any such thing in place. Empower never ever requires a co-signer. And same for a collateral as well, where collateral is some form of security, some form of asset that has some fixed value. It could be property, real estate, gold. It could be bunch like n number of things. But overall, what collateral means is some form of some asset that has some form of amount of money associated with it or value. Empower would never ever ask for any of these things. And we look at the future earning potential. We look at your entire application, your profile, the details that you submit throughout the application process, and which program, which school are you choosing to attend, and a bunch of other factors as well. But it is entirely dependent on your profile. And it has nothing to do with how much money your parents have or how much, like if you have a lot of property, collateral, anything like that, we would never ever ask for it, even if you have it. And in terms of like what have we achieved so far, so as of 2025, we have supported more than 25,000 students from across the world studying at 500 plus universities across US and Canada. So we are a new player, I would say, in this space, but however, we have impacted a lot of lives globally, and we are really proud of that, and we want to impact many more. We believe we are just a tiny drop in the ocean, and there is much more that we have to offer, and many more students that we can help. Whenever this is something I would share more on a personal level, I see a lot of when I talk to a lot of students, these international students plan to move from different countries to either the US or Canada. Uh, they're not very relevant, like keen on reading reviews. So one push that I do from my end whenever I'm talking to these students is reviews are a big factor when it comes to some decision making process, especially for a product like this where the trust is a big factor. You need to place your trust in an organization that is valuing you. And Empower, we have more than 4,000 reviews available on Trustpilot. We have a rating of 4.8. Please make sure that you read through the reviews. You'll get some real stories. Maybe you get to connect, you find some of your batchmates or some of your seniors from your college. You might be able to even network, find these people on social, connect with them, and try to ask them about their experience with Empower. That will give you much better picture. Obviously, we are here to tell you good things about Empower and also what's working, what's not working, or everything. But these students will give you a much better picture, and it might help you build more trust as well. So make sure that you read out all the reviews that we have, and just it just helps in understanding the product better or understanding the organization better. And in terms of differentiation, so reviews, we do talk about that where we're getting good reviews. We are able to help a lot of students, giving them good experiences with regards to money. And how are we able to do so? By being different. So one of the few of the key reasons for how we are different from other lenders is what you see on your screen. I'll simply explain this very quickly. First thing, no cosigner, no collateral ever. This is something I already covered. No form of security, asset, property, gold, nothing like that. Empower will never ever take that into consideration. Or even a co-applicant or parent or guarantor. We would never ever ask for any such details. So the loan is entirely dependent on you. The next piece is our loans are given out at a fixed interest rate. So whatever interest rate you will have at the time of your loan approval is what the interest rate would be for the entire duration. It will only reduce by 0.25% once you sign up for autopay. So that's one of the discounts that we offer. But in addition to that, there is no such market fluctuation and things like that that will impact your lending, your loan rate, basically. So whatever you have at the time of approval, if the discount is already in, great. Whatever loan rate you have at the time of approval, that is what the loan rate would be through the entire duration. It will not change irrespective of the third party factors, external conditions, and things like that. So this helps students focus on their education because they know what their monthly payment is going to look like, and they don't have to worry about interest rates going up or down and like their basically their payments fluctuating. So they don't have to manage the finances every month. They have to just create a plan initially, and that plan would be sustainable because of the fixed interest rate piece. And then lastly, we provide loan in US dollars. So there's no forex hassle or exchange, like basic, no kind of transaction that you need to do on your end to pay the tuition. um in like from US perspective, like tuition or living, any such thing. Everything is directly transferred to the university. We take care of all of that. Once you arrive at a university, your money is already there. So we take care of all those things in place, and we ensure that the students focus on something that they are there for, which is building their career. There are a couple of programs, if you didn't already know about this. The first one is the Refer a Friend program that we have this as an ongoing program, and I lead this program as well here at Empower. And I have personally seen students who are international students, like who are in the US or Canada. They have a great network of students back home in their home country, and there's some kind of creators or influencers, or basically more of managers who want to give back to the community, and they helped a lot of students get access to funding through Empower. And personally, like I've seen, like last year, as of 2025, there were students who have earned more than $50,000 in rewards in a single calendar year. And these, like, this is some free money that is available. It's not exactly free money. It's more of like gift cards and rewards that are available for you to use. And you just all you need to do is create your referral link. We'll be sharing all these links shortly in the chat window. And all you need to do is create the referral link, share your referral link with your friends and family, and or whoever is looking to apply for a loan. Once they upload the valid visa, and that is when you qualify for the reward. The reward that you get to refer your friend is $300. Once your friend's loan is disbursed, everything is done. Once your friend arrives in the US, that is when US or Canada, that is when they receive $100 gift card as well. So it's a win-win situation for both you and your friend. So make sure that you use the program. You do not have to be an Empower customer to refer anyone to Empower. Uh, Absolutely anyone on this call can refer anyone if you have a network of people who are looking for a loan. Just make sure you don't spam people, and there are a lot of rewards up for grabs, so make sure that you use the most of it. And there's no such capping as well. If you have 20 friends who are willing to move, you can refer to all of them. So there's no such capping in terms of 5, 10, or anything like that. If you have 100 friends, go refer them. It'll only be good for you, good for us, and it works out well. The next program, this is one of my most favorite programs here at Empower, which is scholarships. Scholarships is free money because there is no such interest, nothing like that. All you need to do is fill out a simple form, answer the relevant questions in the right way. That is like whatever you think is the right way. And then all these scholarships that we have are merit based. These are not like raffles or sweepstakes. All of these are 100% merit based scholarships. And we have a bunch of different scholarships that we offer. The most favorite one is that I have is the monthly scholarship, where we give out three rewards worth $1,000 each every month, and you can apply for that every month. Again, same for scholarships. You do not have to be an Empower customer to apply for a scholarship or even win a scholarship. So it's not a mandate that all scholarship winners are Empower customers. That is, there is no such truth in that statement. However, there are some eligibility criterias which are mentioned on the scholarships webpage. So just make sure that you read out all those pieces, and you'll get some good clarity in terms of how to apply and things like that, the eligibility criteria and things like that. So it's free of cost, no need to be an Empower customer. So make sure that you use both these programs. All you need to do is just, we'll also share the link, but you can also just go on Google or any search window or any AI bot and just ask them for the scholarships offered by Empower or the referral program offered by Empower, and you'll get all the details that we have. Finally, just quickly covering the other benefits. We believe we are more than just a lender. So we do not just lend money, we invest in you and we invest in you to ensure that you have the best kind of success that is possible. And if you are successful, only then can Empower as an organization be successful as well. So, what we do is we provide support at all stages of the international student journey. We'll go through the journey like in a bit, very quickly. But from a support point of view, once you have the admit letter, that is when Empower comes in. That is when you need the funding. Once you have the funding sorted, that is post funding, you start working on the visa. We provide some support on the visa front as well, where the first thing is with a Empower loan approval, you get a free financial visa support letter. This, sorry, this support letter could be used on multiple places. Basically, for you from a US perspective, you could use it to get your I-20. You could use it to show this as proof of funds for your visa interview as well. So it definitely helps build a stronger case when you're going for a visa interview, or if when you're applying for study permit from Canada perspective. In addition to that, we provide some free resources as well. Once you become an Empower applicant, you just need to log into the dashboard and you'll get access to all these different resources that you see on the screen right now. And we do keep offering a bunch of free visa mock sessions as well. So just make sure that you have already applied. Just log into the dashboard. If you haven't, make sure that you check your eligibility as soon as possible. Log into the dashboard, submit your completed application, and you would get then, based on where you are in the application journey, you would get access to these kind of tools. From a finance perspective, there are a bunch of different tools that we or resources that we give out. Free credit card on an Empower loan approval that would work in the US, and then a pre-qualified bank account for Canada with an Empower loan approval. And then we keep doing such webinars, not focused on like this one is focused more on the Empower loan application, but we keep doing more career building sessions as well. So keep an eye out on your email, and we would definitely be reaching out to the relevant folks for registration purposes. But moving on, from a career front, we provide access to a paid tool. All Empower customers get it for free for a year once they become a customer with us. And otherwise, like if they were not an Empower customer, they would have to pay for it. And like it's a job search tool built for international students. Basically, the jobs that would be listed here would be recruiting international students. So it would help you stay ahead of the curve and get more real-time insights into the job market and things like that. And in addition to that, we do keep hosting some knowledge sessions around the job, career, networking, all those different kind of topics. But overall, we are built by international students for international students. So we want to help ensure that every international student is successful. If they have taken an Empower loan, they will definitely have an edge over others, but we would want to support as many students as possible. This is just highlighting the differences, things that I already mentioned, nothing new on this slide. Now, quickly wrapping up the student journey. So this journey was created keeping fall intake in mind. And fall intake would usually say start in April, May. These are the 2 months when the fall intake actually begins for Empower, or like as for international students. And overall, what we have realized is 1 year before, 12 months is the average time that a student takes right from thinking about studying to actually landing in the US. And September, October, so if you're planning for, say, fall 27, then in September, October, is when the admits would actually begin. But you need to prep right now. I mean, earlier the better. But if you are from a fall 26 perspective, if you're a fall 26 applicant, right now, this is where you would be. So you would have already, for fall 26 applicants, from an ideal timeline perspective, you should have already applied. You should have already done networking. What we mean by networking is you should have already connected with alumni from the school that you plan to attend, or any school that you're still waiting for an admit for. Just make sure that you connect with professors, connect with alumni in that university, talk to them, make genuine connections. Don't try to do it as a transaction. Make genuine connections, ensure that they are giving you the kind of support that you need. And that would only happen if you ask the right questions. Just don't make it transactional, try to build those connections. And this definitely helps you in shortlisting in the schools and also getting some real-time understanding of what is actually happening on the other side. Once you get the admit, which is right now is the admit season, where a lot of you might already have an admit or might be waiting for one. So if you already have an admit, great, wonderful. And this is the time when you need to lock your funding, apply for an Empower loan, secure your funding, get the funding piece sorted. Once you have loan approval, once you have all your finances sorted out, that is when you then need to go to sit for a visa appointment, book your visa slots, or fill in the study permit application from a Canada perspective. And this usually happens from May to July. It could happen a bit earlier as well for some of the students, but majority of the students would go through a visa in this time period. And then once June and July is done, during August and October is when the intake begins, when the fall intake begins. And that is when you would have like if you were planning to go to US or Canada, you would have a 2 week orientation for every that is compulsory for every international student. And that orientation will set you up for the life that is about to happen for the international student space. And in this orientation week, you could just, if you end up taking an Empower loan, all you need to do is just visit the school's financial aid office, work with them, and they would already have all the details and the money that you would have requested from Empower, and they would then get it to basically share that with you. So overall, this is what the student journey looks like. I know I went through it a bit quickly, but happy to take any questions. Just make sure that you add it to the Q&A. We'll take the questions at the end of the session. And with that, we now move on to the next section. So I'd like to call back on Meng Xiao for the next section of our webinar today, which is the application walkthrough.
All right, I'm right here, and thank you so much, Sagar. All right, so Sagar just introduced us what we are and how the how Empower Loan can work, right? So if you're ready, this is actually a great time if you are ready to submit an application with Empower. So I will quickly walk you through for our application process. So I will go ahead and share my screen. All right, I hope my screen is visible. Thank you, Sagar. Alrighty, okay. Okay, so if you're ready, you can actually submit the application with me at the same time because it's going to be a step-by-step process. So first, before you submit the application with Empower, you need to be eligible, right? So how to be eligible? That will be a good question, right? So first, you will need to be accepted or enrolled at an Empower eligible school. So I will go ahead and click on this link where I can show you our website quickly. If you're new to our website, you can just simply type empowerfinancing.com. So very straightforward. So if you move your mouse under Get a Loan, you can find schools with support. Once you click on that, you will be directed to this page. So if you scroll down, you can find your Empower eligible, our Empower eligible schools, right? You can find the school list. So you can simply search your school's name, or you can just scroll down to see all of the schools we support. As you see, we support more than 500 schools in the US and Canada. So let's say maybe I'm interested in a school in a certain state. Let's do Arizona. So you'll be able to see, okay, yeah, those are the schools we support in Arizona. If you have a specific school in mind, you can just simply type the school. So if you are able to find the school, then which means we support that school. If you are not able to find the school, then unfortunately we cannot support you. All right, let's move on to our eligibility. Okay. So, oops. Okay. Yeah. So second criteria is that you need to be within 2 years of graduating or starting a 1 year or a 2 year program. So to break it down, let's say some people may ask if I'm actually pursuing my bachelor degree program, then does it mean I'm not eligible at all, or how does it work? So here's the thing. For those programs which have more than 2 years to graduate, then which means when you have 2 years left to graduate, you will be eligible for our loan. So a good example for bachelor degree program, so which means well usually they have 4 years, right? So which means for the first 2 years, unfortunately we cannot support you. But for for the last 2 years, when you are about to graduate, I mean 2 years from your graduation, then you will be eligible. So same for other programs as well, no matter is for bachelor degree or doctorate degree, etc. So last one is that you will be pursuing a degree seeking program such as master's, MBA, PhD, bachelor's, etc. Some students ask me, hey, if I'm actually pursuing a program that is associate degree, certificate program, etc., will you be able to accept that? So the answer is actually a no, because they're not considered as a degree seeking program. All right. So move on. We just want to let you know how the process looks after you submit the application. So submit the application may take you approximately 20 to 25 minutes. Receive a loan approval. So it depends on the situation. It depends on what kind of well, if you already provide all the required documents and complete all the required steps. If so, then usually we can provide the loan decision within 3 to 5 business days. Once again, it depends on your situation because sometimes we may require for additional documents. So it's really case by case. Sometimes it may happen longer than 3 to 5 business days, or it may be shorter. So next step is school receives funds. But yeah, there are other steps we need to complete before releasing the funds to the schools. So we are going to introduce you about that a little bit later. And then of course you can go ahead and get started, right? So first of all, when you start your application, we just talk about eligibility, right? Tell us about yourself, your school, and the degree you want to learn. And we need to understand your basic information. We need to understand who you are, your immigration status, and etc. And also, we need to understand your school and employment. We need to understand your major and program details, when your program is going to start. And that's why it's very important to provide your admission letter so we can understand your situation better. Next, it will be a financial information. We need to understand your financial plan, including your required and existing funds. ID, very straightforward. Once again, we need to understand who you are, and then you will be able to finish the application. Okay, so let's now break it down. So if you go ahead and use our website, once again, empowerfinancing.com, then you can see a highlighted button is very obvious for you to find just to start your application with us, right? So once you click on that, you will be able to see this page. You will be asked to check your eligibility. So just enter your preferred name, your legal first and last name, and also your email. So speaking of the email, so we actually always tell our students, so always stick with one email address. So that's because if you happen to um, submit different applications using different email addresses, then it may result potential delays. So it's highly recommended to stick with one email address. So, and then we need to understand what brings you to Empower, right? So, if you are thinking about studying, if you have applied but haven't heard back from the school yet, if you have been accepted to a school but haven't enrolled, or you are currently enrolled at a school. And last, I'm currently enrolled at a school, but you are actually transferring to another school. So click one of them, which is applicable to your situation, and then we can move on. And then, of course, you need to pick the school you will attend. So I actually found some students just choose a random school if they're not able to find the school that we support. So if you're not able to find the school, then which means we cannot support that school. So we cannot really start a loan with you, right? So type your school name and then go ahead and click on the school, and then we can go from there. Okay, so for some schools, there might be different campuses. For example, Northeastern University, they have a campus in the US. They also have a campus in Canada. So make sure you select the right campus if your school has multiple campuses. All right. And then what kind of degree you will be receiving, right? If that's going to be a master's, MBA, PhD, etc. So click the one you are pursuing. And then how did you hear about us? So either is through online search, loan or admission consultant, referral from a friend, university staff or website or others. And then we need to understand your citizenship country. So if you are from Brazil, if you're from India, just type your country's name. And then, of course, we need your acknowledgement. So if everything works for you, then go ahead and check mark those two. And so, yeah, then you can go ahead and click continue. And then it will show you this page that we're just letting you know that we're checking your eligibility now. So if you're not eligible, the screen will show you, unfortunately, you're not eligible. If you are eligible, then you will be able to start your application with Empower. So this will be the next page. We need to understand more about you. So first is your mobile number. So if you are still if you are still residing in your home country, make sure you have your country code and your phone number, right? So do you want to be contacted using WhatsApp number? So when our customer relations team get in touch with you, we actually do not use WhatsApp, but if you have WhatsApp available, you can provide your WhatsApp number just as an additional contact information. But if our team would like to get in touch with you, then we will use email or a phone call. So you might expect a call from us. But yeah, and also we need to know your date of birth. That's very important. And make sure your name, your date of birth, all the information matches on your ID that you are going to provide because we are going to require your ID later. Okay, so my passport country was your permanent address. So some people may get a little bit confused in this section. So even though, let's say I'm actually from India, but I'm actually residing in a different country. So some students just put their current address in a different country rather than their home countries. Is this correct? So actually the answer is not really. So your permanent address needs to be your home country address, even though you're residing in a different country. Unless you have Well, unless you move to another country for more than 5 years, this might be a little bit complicated because we will require additional documents later on. Or if you are a permanent resident in that specific country, then you can use that address as your permanent address. All right, I hope that's clear to you, and make sure your address is a complete address. So what we meant by a complete address is that it needs to include your house number, your street name, your city, etc. Some people may just write a city's name. We cannot consider it as the address, right? Okay, so what's your immigration status in the US or in Canada? So if you're a citizen or not, or a permanent resident. Well, yeah, if either non-citizen or permanent resident. Okay, and then you need to add your reference. So this is required. So a reference is not someone referred you to Empower, but instead is someone, well, we just need to have your reference information. It can be a close friend or family member. So, well, basically, in case we are not able to reach out to you in the future, we may reach out to your reference. Okay. And yeah, just put your reference first name, last name, email, and phone number. That's all we need. Okay. So now some questions about your education. So earlier you were asked to put your school's name, degree type in the previous steps, right? So now we need to understand what are you studying? So just type your primary major. So keep that in mind. If you're not able to find your major, choose the one that is closest to your major. So well, of course, later on you will be asked to provide your admission letter. So even though your major, you cannot find your major there, then just choose a major that is closest to your major. And then our credit team will review your admission letter to get to know you more. So then we will ask, are you getting a dual degree or dual major? And also, is your major in the field of science, technology, engineering, or math, in other words, STEM program, right? Okay, so now what's your program type? So a lot of students will be pursuing their studies on campus. So if so, choose on campus. Or it can be a online program. So for most of the cases, we cannot support for online programs. There are a couple of situations we can support for online programs, but the students must be working in the United States or Canada. If that's a hybrid program, that's completely fine, but we all will also require a copy of the visa, the student visa. And then we need to understand when your expedited graduation date will be. So just simply choose your anticipated graduation date and also your program start date. So be careful with the numbers. So because as mentioned earlier, in order to be eligible, you will need to be within 2 years of graduating from your program. Okay, next step is that what will your enrollment status be? So are you going to be a full-time, part-time student? Have you studied or received a degree from another US school or Canadian schools in the past? Okay. Now we need your employment information. If you're currently employed or not employed, but or you have no employment history. So if you choose I'm currently employed, then we may require for a supporting documents later. Okay, the year of experience, how many total years of experience do you have working in the US or Canada? Okay. So and now we need to understand review your employment history, what your income will be, etc. Right? If you have another job, click on add another job. Okay. Very straightforward. Do you have a future job offer? So just choose one of them. All right, so now this section is very important. So we need to talk about the numbers, right? So you need to put, oops, you need to put the total estimated cost for 1 year. So once again, it's for 1 year, not for your entire program. So you need to enter your tuition cost, right? So if my tuition cost for 1 year, it will be $45,000. I will just put $45,000 there. All right. Other than this loan, how will you fund the cost of your education? If you have any personal savings, for example, some programs may offer the students for the scholarships. Or if you have any non-MPOWER loans, maybe it could be from your home country, from somewhere else. So just list your information there. This is very important because we need to understand if, of course, other than MPOWER loan, we need to understand if you have some other funding sources that can support you for your education. If you have any personal savings, family support, scholarships, etc., we highly recommend that you provide those information to us. That's because another reason is that our credit team will review your application later on, along with your supporting documents. And of course, we need to understand if the students will be able to pay back the loan, right? Either while studying and after graduating. All right. So, and we need to understand your financial plan now. So let's say maybe the total cost of completing the program is $100,000. If I have any additional funding sources, then you will find the funding gap there. So for example, in this, you can see that from the screen, USD 100,000 additional funding sources. So which means I need to request a loan of $100,000 from MPOWER. If you have additional funding sources, for example, I have $20,000 available as my personal savings, so which means my funding gap will become $80,000. So that might be the number I want to consider applying from MPOWER. All right, requested loan amount. So just like I mentioned, you will find the funding gap, which can help you understand how much you would like to request from MPOWER. Okay, and now do you have any additional debt? Oh, so if you have a loan in your home country, you can just be very honest because we need to understand your situation better. Do you have any additional debt to enter? If you have a loan in your home country, you can click on yes. Later on, we will request for additional documents after your submission. Okay, then we need your knowledge for those disclosure, right? First, you have read and agree to the Choosing Lending Act application disclosures. Second is that credit or report authorization, right? So regarding the credit report, we will request, well, we need to pull your credit history in your home country, but of course, it might not be applicable for all of the countries, but in certain countries. So if you're still locating in your home country, we need to understand your credit history if you have any. If you do not have any, then we still need to check your credit history well, then you are still required to complete it If you do not have any, then the report will come as not found. So we can still proceed further, but you will be required to complete it. And of course, Military Lending Act disclosure. Okay, and then we need to review your details and submit your application. So we need to understand, yeah, so those are those will be the information you provided in the earlier steps. So make sure to review and confirm your information before your submission. So if you want to edit some information, this is still a good time, but keep that in mind once the application is submitted, you will not be able to make any changes. However, you can send us an email, and then we can go ahead and update your information for your application. You do not need to submit a new one unless certain information is incorrect. Okay. So now it will show you as we're processing your request. And then you can see this page, your application is pending. To approve your application, we need to confirm a few additional details. Please complete the remaining steps and submit your application. So you can click on next. And how much do you need for each academic period? So what do you mean by academic period? You may want to ask. So academic period depends on your school. So some schools may call this differently. Some school may call one academic period as one semester. Some schools may call it as a quarter. So because each school may call it differently, then just think about if your school goes by semester, think about how much you need for one semester. If it goes by quarter, then how much you need for quarter. If it goes by for one academic year, then think about how much you need for 1 year. I hope I'm not confusing you, but this is very important for us to understand. Okay, so if you are trying to apply for $60,000 USD for one semester or for one quarter, then you will not be able to submit it. If you want to ask why, that's because the maximum loan amount you can request for one term, so either one semester or one quarter, will be $50,000. So no number can enter over $50,000 in this section, unless you are trying to request for 1 year. So if you're trying to request for 1 year, it can be over $50,000. However, there's another limit. So if you are trying to request for $100,000 for 1 year, that's completely fine. But there is a maximum amount you can request. You can apply for a MPOWER loan. It will be $100,000. Any amount over than that, we will not be able to support you. So $50,000 for one academic year, or the maximum you can apply up to will be $100,000. So even though you are allowed to apply for over 100, the maximum will be $100,000 lifetime. So yeah, but anyway, you can apply up to $100,000, but we still need to review your application accordingly and review your application and provide your loan decision accordingly. Either it can be approved, not approved. If approved, what the amount, what could be the maximum we can provide you. So even though you are able to provide maximum $100,000, your approved amount might not be $100,000 depending on your situation. Okay, now we need to verify your identity. Provide your ID, right? So the most ideal document will be your passport. So if you are planning to study abroad, I'm pretty sure you have your passport available. In case you don't have a passport available, you can provide a valid government issued photo ID. So make sure it's a color copy is a government issued photo ID. Make sure it's still valid, right? So if some people I've seen, they provide the student ID, employment ID, etc., they cannot be accepted. Why? Because they're not government issued. Okay. And then once you submit your ID, we need to verify if that matches your name, right? And then you will find this page. Ooh, I hope that was not tough, but I think that's very straightforward. But once it has been submitted, you can find under My Applications, you can find this application. Of course, you can submit another application for a different school. Um, well, of course, at the same time, we will review those applications at the same time, separately. So if you are thinking about studying, but you haven't got the admission letter yet, we do not recommend submit the applications at the same time because it may result in some delays. Once you have your admission letter, feel free to submit one with us. Without your admission letter, you can still submit it, but we cannot really provide you with the loan decision without the admission letter. Okay. So under My Applications, this is the thing I was talking about earlier, right? We need your home country credit check. Then you can follow the steps below in order to complete it. It might not be applicable for all of the countries, but that's because some countries may not have the credit system at all. So it depends on where you're located, where you're from. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done for the application process. So if you have any questions, please let us know. And you can either give us a call, one of our representatives will be more than happy to assist you. If you prefer to send us an email, you can always send us an email at empower.me. So it's spelled as ME, right? Empower.me at empowerfinancing.com. So we can help you over the emails as well, whichever you prefer. And now over to you, Sagar.
Thank you so much. That was such a detailed application walkthrough. Uh, if you could stop sharing a screen, we could then quickly move on to Super. Thank you. So now we'll move on to the Q&A section. We are almost at time, but we'll quickly take some of the common questions that I'm seeing. So there are some applicants, and this question is for you, Meng Zhao. There are some questions around Nova credit. So once the students submit the app, there are some questions around like Nova credit not showing the right report, or if there's no like zero balancing. So how do like what is the best way? What is the ideal way for students to go about getting their Nova credit pull?
Yeah, so it depends on which country you're from. So I'll give you an example. If you're from India, in India, I believe the credit bureaus will be either CRIF or CIBIL. If you are from Nigeria, then it's probably going to be from CRC Credit Bureau. Ghana, it will be XDS. So if you are experiencing any issues, if you are not able to complete it, if you experience any issues or errors, send us an email first because we need to understand what kind of the issues are, right? Because we might see different results. One, it can be your personal information not matched. So if that's the case, please get in touch with your local credit bureau first. If you're from India, get in touch with your CRIF or CIBIL to understand where the issue is coming from. They might be able to find the issue for you. For example, the name is spelled incorrectly, or the date of birth is incorrect, etc. So you need to get in touch with them so that they can help you understand the issues first. Once this is completed, get in touch with us. So request a co local credit report from your local credit bureau first and send it over to us. If after we review it and we see, okay, yeah, everything matches, we can send you with a manual Nova credit check link. So, yeah, that will be the correct way to do. If you do not have any local credit bureau, well, sorry, if you do not have any home country credit history established at all, then you are still required to complete it, but the result will show as not found. If it's not found, we can still proceed, but you just need to complete it successfully. I hope that explains Sagar.
Yep. Definitely it does. Uh, I have another question, and this is like more on the same lines, but there is an applicant who had basically like no credit history, and there was some like very past like historical delinquency that was recorded in that, and now that is all sorted, like none of that issue. So if the student is asking that if the F1 visa is approved and if they reapply for an MPOWER loan once they are in the US, would that help in their chances for approval?
That's actually a great question. So if you already have your visa approved, that's great. But when you submit an application with Empower, you are required to complete the credit check. If you have any delinquencies in your home country, we recommend that you go ahead and clear the delinquencies first, because that's well, checking the credit history, your credit score. If you have any delinquencies, that's the big how can I say that? A big factor we consider in order to provide you with a loan decision. If there are some delinquencies, the application may not be approved. But of course, depending on the situation. But yeah, we highly recommend that you clear the delinquencies first. There are no delinquencies on your credit report at all, then you can move forward. Otherwise, it will be a huge factor.
Got it. And one last question before we end the session today. So, a lot of students are asking like how much time does it usually take for MPAR to process the application? And some of them are waiting for their admit letters, which is why they are a bit stressed about like the timing of it. So,
Yeah, so if you do not have your admission letter available, we cannot really support, well, we can support you, but we cannot provide you with a loan decision yet
yeah.
because one of the biggest document, well, yeah, one of the important documents you need to provide will be your admission letter. We need to understand your program
Yeah.
type, your program start date, etc. Without the admission letter, we cannot really move forward. But go ahead and focus on your admission application first and then come back to us.
Yeah, so the question is like once they have an admit, like how much time would MPAR take to like
Oh,
review their application? And usually
yeah.
like how much time to it?
Yeah, sorry about that. So while it may happen sometimes, it could be 3 to 5 business days for us to provide you with a loan decision. It may take a little bit longer. It could take up to 2 weeks. That's because we may require additional documents from you. If that's the case, our team will get in touch with you. We'll send you an email and let you know what exactly you need to provide. Then we can go from there. So I would say average 3 to 5 business days or up to 2 weeks.
Got it. Super. So, some tips from what I heard from Meng Shao, and I'm sharing this with all of you here. Uh, any information that you put in the application, you should have a proof for it or some document that shows that validates that information that you're sharing. Make sure that you upload all the documents in one go. Do not do it in batches or anything like that. That'll only delay your application process. Uh, if you already have an admit, apply right now, apply today. And one of our chat moderators has shared the link, but you'll also receive the links via email as well. So make sure that you apply immediately if you have the admit letter, and just have like a proof or some validation for any information that you're filling in during the application. And That's all. With that, we are at the end of our session today. Thank you so much, Meng Shao, for joining us and taking us to the application walkthrough. It was lovely hearing you out, and we keep doing more such sessions every week. So keep an eye out on our social handles, on the community channels that we just shared, and make sure that you follow us on them to, sorry, stay up to date with all the Empower offerings. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Take care, everyone.